What's up, champ? I'm Vince Delmonte of GeneExpressionTraining.com, and in this video I'm going to take you through my biceps workout. We're going to have a ton of fun here, and we're going to be working out downstairs here in my home gym, and we're going to teach you guys 5 key exercises. Remember, I don't use terms like best exercise because there's no such thing as a best exercise. Every exercise has pros, every exercise has cons, and you just have to understand what each exercise can do for you. That way we can take control. You're going to see a lot of things you haven't seen before. This isn't your typical bodybuilding meathead workout where we're just going to chase more and more weight. We're going to take a very intelligent and safe way to build our arms. So if you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, this is going to work for you as well. So this workout is really catered to my muscle fiber type, but you stick with me, I'll tell you how to adapt everything to your muscle fiber type because we're different. You may be a fast twitch guy. I'm a slow twitch guy. You might be a mixed fiber guy. So we have to adapt these rep ranges, this physiology stuff, to how our body will respond best. All right? What we always fall back to, what we never ignore, are the mechanisms of muscle growth. That's mechanical tension. So you're going to see some heavy stuff in this workout. We're going to do some muscle damage stuff. You're going to see some stretch stuff where we really overload the stretch position. We're going to do some metabolic stress stuff where we do some really high rep cell swelling pump stuff where you can take some awesome selfies at the end of the workout. So we're going to hit all mechanisms, all hypertrophy variables. We're going to use some really cool exercises that cater to the entire strength curve. So we're not going to overkill the same part of the muscle with redundant exercises, which is what most guys do. They don't have any rhyme or reason to why they do an exercise. It's just because it's what the big guys do or what they've seen on YouTube. You got to take control, guys. There's no other part of your life that you would go through life blindly. So that's why this channel's here. Let's get to it. Going to give you guys a smarter way to build your arms. And again, some of you might be thinking, but Vince, your arms aren't that big. My arms are about 16 inches, and they used to be 11 inches. Now, do I have 17, 18-inch arms? No. But does that mean I don't have value to offer? Absolutely not. There's guys that you can learn from because they're teaching what's correct, regardless of their size. Correct is correct. Let's get to it. All right, here we go, guys. First set of the workout is an activation set. This is mandatory. This is not optional. We use an activation set to prepare us for the rest of the workout. We want to tell the nervous system, hey, get ready. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. We want to really train the nervous system to start contracting the muscle tissue within the biceps when it's short. That's where the nervous system has the hardest time to contract the muscle. So if we don't switch that stuff on, you're not going to be activating tissue throughout the rest of your workout that has the potential to make you bigger. So you're essentially, cutting your opportunity down significantly to build bigger arms by not doing activation sets. So do not skip these. All you're doing is 1 set of 10, squeezing harder every single rep. Really focus on that shortened position and count for 2 seconds in the shortened position. Hold it there. So before we start exercise 1, I want to talk about increasing weight from set to set. A lot of guys ask, how do I do that? How much weight do I increase? And the answer is quite simple. It's 5% based on the bar weight or the dumbbell weight of your previous set. So let's say you knocked out 8 reps with 30 pounds easily. You're ready to go up in weight. If you had a calculator, you'll get good at this after you do this more and more. You take 30 and you multiply it by 0.05%, or just to get the actual weight, 1.05, and you can see the next set should be 31.5 pounds. Now most gyms are like, don't equip 31.5 pounds. So what I would do is I would go to 32.5 pounds. That's one of the neat things I have about working downstairs in the gym is I've got the plates that go up in micro progression. So I'd add these guys here. So now these are 1 1/4 each. So now I've got 32.5 pounds. And my next set is going to be more reasonable as opposed to going from 30 to 35, which is a big jump. So that's how you do it. If your gym doesn't have those things, there's other ways to increase the intensity without actually adding more weight. But it's worth allowing you to know how to sensibly increase your weights from set to set. Exercise 1 are supinating dumbbell curls. I want you guys to take note how I'm applying the principle of muscle disadvantages. This is one of the key principles of mass mechanics, something that I teach, and it's all based on making it as hard as possible. Your body, your brain is going to always choose the path of least resistance. It's always going to try and figure out how to make it easier and bounce from the knees and bounce from the ankles and lean your trunk back. So what I'm really trying to do here is direct all the tension, all the neural drive right to my biceps. And that's one of the reasons I'm using the arm bar here around my neck here. It really helps me keep everything locked in cement and just focus on that elbow flexion and squeezing all the way through. First work set, for me, I'm doing 3 sets of 8. That's going to be considered heavy for a hypertrophy rep range for me, based on my fiber type. So 40 pounds is great. So what would be a 5% increase? Let's just check this out. So 40 pounds times 1.05 is 42. So because I can go up in 2.5 increments in my gym, I'm going to go to 42.5 pounds. And you can see the challenge, right? Most gyms would go from 40 to 45. So what do? Well, you can slow it down. You squeeze harder. There's a lot of external and internal cues you can apply to make it heavier without actually having to increase the weight. I could sit down. That's going to take away some trunk stuff. All right? You could pause at the bottom a little longer. You could pause at the top a little longer. And that's why this channel exists, to give you guys cues, internal things you can think about to make the weights heavier without actually having to use heavier weight. Meatheads just have to pick up heavier stuff because it's the only tool in their toolbox. You guys have more than one tool, all right? So we'll go to 42.5 on the next set. Guys, you do not want to become better at this. You want this to always be hard. The moment this starts becoming easy, you're doing it wrong. Unless your goal is just more reps. But building muscle is a completely different approach. It always needs to be hard. It always needs to be challenging. The moment you're like, oh, it's just starting to get easier, you're doing it wrong. So this is exercise number 2. We're doing rope curls. Again, this is the Monte Biceps workout. So I'm selecting exercises that target areas of my body that really need more improvement. One of those areas is my forearms. I got these rinky-dinky forearms, and I'm really trying to bring out my brachialis. And this here really blows it up. So here what we need to focus on is the setup. All right, we can really do a lot of harm to our wrists and elbows if we don't set this up properly. So first things first is to check your range of motion at the shoulder. How much range do you have available? If you can't get into external rotation like this, where your elbows are turned in, your biceps are facing forward, your triceps are facing backwards, you can't do this exercise. Do not marry yourself to this exercise. It's like marrying the wrong person. You're going to end up having a divorce. So hands down here at the side. Wherever your hand naturally falls is where you set the straps, it's where you grip the straps, and it's where you start to work. And you just work through that natural range and be aware of the direction the bicep is always facing. As long as it's facing forward, that's your check to ensure you're doing it safely. And then you just go to town. Oh man. That's amazing. Whew. So what do we want to call those? We want to just call them rope curls. I think that'd be good. So I just take my wrist wraps and you're just holding these on. You're not wrapping it around, guys. You're literally holding on. So there's going to be a lot more neural drive, a lot more activation from those forearms, especially that brachioradialis. And again, we're just focused on curling all the way through. You can see me really trying to fight hard at the end. So 4 sets of 12 with this weight would probably be perfect. But if it was like easy, let's do that little progression thing again so you guys can really, I don't want you guys to forget this. So 50 pounds times 1.05. Remember, increase bar weight 5%. If you successfully hit your reps on your last set and you feel like you're up for a little more effort, a little more challenge, and that would take me to 52.5. So to go to 52.5, we have to realize that that's beyond what we have available to add to the bar. So if you're going to go there, just expect that it's going to be much harder. All right? So for me, what I would do if I didn't want to make that jump is I would just slow it down and squeeze harder. Make it feel like 52.5. Remember, your brain can't tell that it's 52.5. It's all about what your muscles experience. All right? So don't get it's all about what you're doing to the weights, not what the weights are doing to you. You should write that down. If you're getting tired and going to your toes, fall back to the forefront, to the entire base of your foot so you can stabilize yourself, and just keep squeezing as hard as you can. Like squeeze all the way through, all the way to the top, and then stretch all the way forward, and just go after those goal reps. So exercise 1 was the superset, where we focus on the lengthened position and then the shortened position, really equalizing the tension with the bands. As soon as you add those bands there, you're gonna have to fight harder on that top position. You're gonna have to fight harder in the bottom position. Typically where the resistance drops off with a dumbbell, we're now making it harder. Guys, building muscle is about creating disadvantages, not giving yourself advantages. CrossFitters, powerlifters, they want an advantage because they're chasing performance. Bodybuilding, we don't care about performance. It has zero impact on how we look. Our body just wants to make things easy. So that's why we add the bands here. This is our metabolic stress part of the workout. So we're doing 3 sets of 30 that's what I'm doing for my fiber type. And we're going 15-15. No rest, keep the tension on, squeeze as hard as you can. Now, even though that was a high rep set, the goal here is muscle swelling. And even though I knocked out 30 reps, I kept going with the bands because we want to focus on what we're trying to achieve. What we're trying to achieve is maximal cell swelling, a huge pump. So if you're like, I could keep going to maximize this pump, keep going. The reps and the sets are just guidelines. So you have to be very intuitive. When you're in the gym, you're like, I got more in the tank. And the goal of this is cell swelling. So keep going, swell it up. All right, make that muscle as pumped and swole as possible, all right? And that's why you saw me keep going there. That weight was obviously too light for 15-15, so we're gonna go up next set. Make the damn muscle work. If you look at these big guys out there and you see all this weight they're lifting and all these circus acts they're doing, you don't have to do that. You don't need to do that. Because I look at that stuff and I'm like, I just couldn't do that. No matter how long I tried for, I would never be able to do that. And guess what? You don't need to. You need to make your damn muscles work. In the gym, find ways to make it harder. The moment it becomes easier, you're doing it wrong. I want you guys to bring that one idea to the gym. So here, what happened here on this exercise here, we're hitting the lengthened position, we're hitting the shortened position, we're using bands to keep the tension on. We don't want the tension to let off. We don't want it to escape. We don't want to find a point where we can rest. We want to work through it. We want to crash through the quitting point. Write that one down. Crash through the quitting point. When you want to quit, crash through, work harder. What you see me doing here is a variation of a cable concentration curl. One of the biggest mistakes with, I wouldn't even say mistakes, it's just the biggest challenge that guys have with building their biceps is not cheating. Guys do the no curl bicep curl. They're kind of doing a clean and a bit of a deadlift and they're getting the bar up, but there's nothing actually happening at the elbow where the muscle crosses. So what's great about this one here is that there's nowhere to go. If you lean back, you can't get anything from your trunk. So there's no way to cheat here. And we can really direct a ton of tension into the muscle. And that's why we finished the workout with some cell swelling stuff. And we're just gonna crank out 3 sets of 30 here. And you're just gonna squeeze that muscle like it owes you money. Squeeze it all the way through to the end. And you're gonna just crank it out, keep it on, keep those elbows turned in tight. Notice how I'm keeping my elbows close together and maintaining that external rotation so the resistance is lined up on top of the biceps and not getting dumped into my little tiny wrists and my little fragile elbows, all right? You don't want those joints to go. When they're gone, they're gone, all right? And you're done. You're out of the game. You're gonna take up, tennis or, not even tennis. You have to take up maybe chess. That's going to be the extent of your activity if you smash up your wrists and elbows. So you've got to learn how to train smarter. You've got to stop watching these guys who are just all about more, heavy. They're taking you down the wrong path. I'm telling you right now, if you're in your early 20s, they're taking you down the wrong path. You're going to be banged up by the time you're in your 30s. You're going to be limping around. You won't be able to keep up with your kids. So train smarter, get a lot out of this exercise. You'll see your arms grow. This is the time to take your selfie. Everyone's going to ask you if you gained 10 pounds. You just pumped a ton of blood in there, a ton of fluid. You eat properly, you recover, you keep progressing. That pump, what that arms look like right now, it's going to stay. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like, wow, that's how they looked after the workout a few days ago. It's all about consistency, guys. You've got to be what I call consistently consistent. If you look at all these top physique guys out there who've got great bodies, you know, I applaud them all in the back because they're consistent. The majority of them are consistent year round. This is their lifestyle. It's not like a 12-week program or a 16-week program. Now, programs are great, but this is their lifestyle. They don't know any other way. Not doing it consistently is like, it's like it throws their life off. So guys, it's just sticking to the plan, trusting the plan, and just showing up. The name of the game sometimes is showing up and then giving it your all and just adding all these external cues and internal cues that I give you guys on the channel and all this cool stuff. Just add it to the workouts. And then most importantly, guys, you got to train for your muscle fiber type. We're all predetermined with a certain set of genetics. Some of us are more slow twitch, some of us are more mixed fiber, some of us are more fast twitch. So certain rep ranges will respond better to certain program designs than other program designs. All right, so if you're like a slow twitch guy and you're training like a fast twitch guy, you'll get some results. I'm not saying you're not going to see any benefit, but you're not going to get as good results. You're not going to get as fast results. They're not going to come as easily, if you will, when you start working with your genetics. And when I created this muscle fiber quiz, that's why I did it, because I experienced the same thing. So this muscle fiber quiz takes 30 seconds. I just put a little link up there below if you want to find out what your muscle fiber type is. You can then start training for your muscle fiber type, because I'll give you a really cool technique to start applying immediately, and you're going to see your body change. You know, you got to verify it for yourself. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody else. It comes down to what you experience. That's what matters. Don't believe me. Verify it for yourself. Find out what your muscle fiber type is. Start training for your muscle fiber type, and you tell me if you notice a difference. I'm positive you will, but you need to see for yourself. So take that quiz. It'll take you 30 seconds. You'll learn how to train for your muscle fiber type. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and your attention. I love creating videos on things that you want to know more about and how I can help you progress. So let me know in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Get it first in line for when I upload new videos every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So subscribe to the channel, join the family, and we'll see you next time.